Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on back. In this one today, we're going to be ranking every perk in Cold War Zombies from worst to best. With our first perk at our number 10 spot, we have Tombstone. Now, they did improve on this perk a ton from Black Ops 2. In that game, it was not only one of the worst, but quite possibly the worst when it comes to perks. Tombstone in Cold War Zombies pretty much takes Who's Who and combines it with the normal Tombstone that we all know and don't love. And while it can be useful and was definitely a huge step up from the older versions of those two perks, it's still not that good because in Cold War Zombies, you have so many more options to revive yourself, like using self-revives or using another perk that we're going to talk about later on this list. Just because you combine two really bad perks doesn't mean you're going to get something better. So for all of those reasons, I have to put it as the worst perk for this game. Still a great perk in comparison to the others in COD Zombies, especially in comparison to normal Tombstone or even Who's Who, but in Cold War Zombies, it's just not that great. Coming into our number 9 spot, we have Elemental Pop. I didn't really get the hype for this perk when it first came out, because it didn't really change up the gameplay all that much. You could upgrade all of your alternate ammo types in game and pick which ones you want to use at any given time, so I never found the need to use Elemental Pop because it's a perk that does what the Pack-a-Punch can do, but it's arguably worse because instead of picking exactly what ammo mod you want, it selects them at random. After we got tier 5 upgrades, however, I began to like this perk a lot more because it got Electric Cherry as one of the upgrades, and you could upgrade your ammo mods, which would indirectly upgrade this perk, which I found to be pretty cool. Overall, a solid perk, but not that great, especially in comparison to the many other great perks in Cold War Zombies. Now, moving into our number 8 spot, we have Cold War Jug. It is very heartbreaking to see Jug as a perk be really low on a perk ranking list, because in every other game, this is one of the best perks. But in Cold War Zombies, it has one huge flaw that makes it one of the worst, and that is the fact that armor exists and the zombies' damage increases in the later rounds. If you buy Jug on round 100 on Cold War, the zombies can still down you with 2 hits even if you have Jug upgraded to tier 5. But if you put armor on instead, it reduces the amount of damage overall, meaning that you can take more hits without Jug if you just put on armor instead. The only reason I didn't put Jug lower on the list is because of one of the upgrades to this perk that makes it to where the armor is more durable. Without that one upgrade, Jug could quite possibly be considered one of the worst perks for this entire game, but because it has that one factor that makes it a lot better, it is definitely still a viable perk to run in Cold War Zombies. Next up on our list, we have Speed Cola. Now, Speed Cola in every other game is a really solid perk, and in Cold War Zombies, it is no different. It's not as good as the Speed Cola in many other games, but it still is a really solid perk, especially for this game in particular. While the reload speed isn't as fast in comparison to normal Speed Cola, this perk comes with so many little bonuses once you fully upgrade it that make it worthwhile as an investment. Not only can you reload faster, but you can interact with things like the box at a much quicker rate, and you can also recharge your special equipment faster. The base effect of Speed Cola isn't the best in this game, but it still is a very useful perk because of all of these small bonuses and upgrades that come with it. Moving into our number 6 spot, we have DEADSHOT. This perk quite literally got a complete rework for this entire game, and it was a much needed change. It was one of the OG perks from Black Ops 1 that still hadn't received a change to make it better. Double Tap, for example, went from 1.0 to 2.0, and other perks like Meal Kick and PhD saw dramatic changes in the coming years as well. But with DEADSHOT, it always stayed the same. In Cold War Zombies, however, they made it to where this perk can double the damage that you deal when you shoot the zombie for the first time in the head, which makes every gun and even certain wonder weapons so much better. And since there's no perk limit in Cold War Zombies, DEADSHOT is a great perk to run for every game since it gives you the bonus of being able to constantly hit headshots and deal even more damage. Coming into our top 5, at our number 5 spot, we have Depth Perception. This perk originally came out in Black Ops 4, and originally it was the worst perk to ever be put into a COD Zombies game. It didn't do anything special except help you see zombies through walls. In Cold War Zombies though, it has one upgrade that makes it one of the best perks in this game, and that is the ability to gain more salvage. This one upgrade makes Depth Perception the best perk to pick up for the lower rounds, since you can grab it right away and rack up a ton of salvage for the later rounds. Everything in Cold War requires you to use salvage, so having a perk that helps with that is greatly beneficial. The only reason I can't put it higher on the list is because the other upgrades aren't as special or great. Regardless, it is a must-have perk for that one simple upgrade that gives you more salvage. Now, coming up next at our number 4 spot, we have Meal Kick. This is another perk that was considered horrible for the longest time until we got to Cold War Zombies. Before, all Meal Kick did was give you a third weapon that you could easily lose, but in Cold War Zombies, you get to keep that third weapon after you down as long as you buy Meal Kick again. Not only that, but you also get small ammo drops while using this perk, which makes it one of the best for certain wonder weapons like the Cerberus. There's also a really high chance that you can craft and use multiple pieces of equipment with this perk equipped, which is also really nice. Overall, Meal Kit got a ton of changes to make it one of the best perks in this game and one of the best in COD Zombies. Moving into our number 3 spot, we have Stamina-Up. This perk was always super underrated and hardly ever used in any of the older games, with the exception on some maps like Origins or Shadows of Evil. In Cold War Zombies, this perk got a ton of upgrades that made it one of the best perks ever. The biggest change was adding in the Black Ops 4 modifier as a base upgrade so that you can sprint forever and move incredibly fast regardless of what gun you're using. This makes for a great perk both for high rounds and if you want to do the Easter eggs. You also take no fall damage with this perk, which in Cold War is very appreciated since there are a lot of places that you can take fall damage from in this game. Overall, a really solid perk in general, and Cold War Zombies did nothing but made it better. Next up at our number 2 spot, we have PhD. PhD from the previous games was already a really good perk, but in Cold War Zombies, they made a ton of changes to make this one of the greatest perks of all time. They took the old things that we love about PhD, like taking no explosive damage, and they added in many other things like being able to slide super far and explode whenever you want with no cooldown. You can also fall off buildings and explode, which when paired with Stamina-Up makes for a phenomenal combo. The explosive weapons in this game are great, and PhD makes them super useful. Before the launch of this perk, weapons like the China Lake were considered useless, but after this perk was introduced, that weapon became one of the best in the entire game. Overall, PhD is a great perk. It didn't really need all the upgrades to compete with the other perks in this game, but it makes the perks so much better with them included. And coming into our number 1 spot, I've said this many times before, it has to go to Quick Revive. This perk acts as a discount self-revive once you get it to tier 5, as long as you're able to kill zombies while you're down, which with a weapon like the ray gun is very easy, then you can revive yourself. You also get so many other helpful abilities with normal Quick Revive, like being able to revive your teammates faster, and you also have a faster health regeneration. But the best thing about this perk is the tier 5 ability. It's like having the self-medication gobblegum in Black Ops 3 as a permanent upgrade for this perk. All you have to do is spend 2,000 points and you can quite literally never die as long as you have this perk. For that reason alone, I have to put Cold War's Quick Revive as the best perk in this game and, in my opinion, the best perk in all of Call of Duty Zombies. Anyways guys, it's going to wrap up the video for today. If you did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe, do all that. Leave your comments down below if you want to see me do any other type of content. Check down the description as well for more zombie related videos. And yeah, I got nothing much else to say, so Peace.